Example 1. Determine algebraically whether each function is even, odd, or neither. Part A. We're given the function f of x equals 4x cubed. From above, we know that if a function is even, then f of x will equal f of negative x. So for part A, I'm going to find f of negative x. So I'm going to substitute a negative x in my function instead of the x. Don't forget to enclose that negative x in parentheses because you're inserting it in that function. So simplifying this, that's going to give us negative 4x cubed. So f of negative x is equal to negative 4x cubed. So I want to compare this to my original function, f of x. We can see that 4x cubed is not the same as negative 4x cubed. So since these are not the same, this function is not even. Now I'll check whether it's odd. We know that an odd function from above, if a function is odd, f of negative x will equal negative f of x. So now I'm going to compare my f of negative x, which is negative 4x cubed, to negative f of x. So in this case, negative f of x would be just multiplying a negative out in front of that original function 4x cubed. So negative f of x is equal to negative 4x cubed. Now I'll compare that. I'll compare my negative f of x to my f of negative x. Well, these two are the same, so that tells me that this function is odd. Part B. We're given the function h of x equals 2x to the fourth minus x squared. So first I'll check if this function is even. So I need to compare h of x to h of negative x. So I'll find h of negative x by substituting in a negative x for all these x's. So simplifying those, that's just going to give us 2x to the fourth minus x squared. So if we compare that back to the original, those are equivalent. So since these are the same, that tells us this function is even. Part C. G of x equals the square root of x. First, I'll check if the function is even by comparing g of x to g of negative x. So I'll find g of negative x by substituting in a negative x for that x under the radical. So now if I compare g of x, which is the square root of x, to g of negative x, which is the square root of negative x, I can see these are not equivalent. So that tells me this function is not even. Now I'll check if the function is odd. So now I have to find negative g of x. So I'll just multiply a negative out in front of my original function, the square root of x, and I get negative square root of x. So now I want to compare these two. I want to compare g of negative x with negative g of x. So if I compare here square root of negative x and negative square root of x, we can see these are not the same. So that tells us that this function is neither even nor odd.